AMC is getting ready to move big next week. There's a lot of news that we have to go over, as well as a Federal Reserve member doing direct insider trading. I think that is very important to continue to shed light about, to hold people accountable. So we're going to talk about all of this, everything you guys need to know, but I want to preference this video by saying, when I say move big, potentially to the upside, like I do think, or potentially to the downside. Now, we currently sit at a very important level at about $40 per share. We have to get above this to see this turn into a support level yet again. If we do gap down, it's going to be related to the overall markets. If the markets are fearful, if the markets start to sell off, then we are likely, as we do know, to see AMC sell off as well. If some of this fear does subside, we should be getting a lot of updates coming on Monday about the potential infrastructure bill and the debt ceiling that hopefully will put some of the fears of investors in the marketplace on the back burner for a little bit longer. So I do expect a breakout to the upside, but I just want to give you guys that heads up. When I say move big, we're definitely going to move big. There's no doubt about that. This is going to be a very important week, I think, to the upside. You guys will probably agree with me after this video, but it can, happen to the downside as well. So without any further ado, guys, tap, tickle, touch, or smash the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel, as well as let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think AMC will do in this next upcoming week? And let's get straight into it. Like I said, we're at about $40 per share. So this is literally, on a technical basis, about 50-50. We're right at our resistance level as well as our prior support level. So this could go either way on a technical basis. Now, let's get into what is actually going on and the significance of this. I do want to compare this Venom movie that is out right now, Sony's Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Compare that to the last Venom movie that did exceptionally well in theaters. I think this is very important. As you guys do probably know, this is highly debated, but the fundamental valuation does matter. If you guys have not heard my rundown of this, imagine you're a hedge fund. Every single position a hedge fund is going to buy into, there is going to be what is the best case scenario, what is the worst case scenario. That worst case scenario is your bare minimum book value per share. And arguably, I think the book value of AMC could be argued in between $20 and $30 per share. This is a lot different than it even was in June. It is much higher now. We see people are going back to theaters. The theater industry is going to survive, and it is going to thrive. So that is like your worst case scenario. Your best case scenario is obviously a short squeeze with hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, we need hedge funds, institutions to buy into the stock as well. I shouldn't say we need them to, but if we want to get to thousands of dollars per share, we're going to need that massive liquidity pool of hedge funds to buy into the stock, just like they did in January. That helped fuel that rally from $12 all the way up to almost $80. That was in part due to hedge funds going long on the stock, because you could make a justifiable valuation even at that time that $12, if you hold AMC for a couple of years, is a fair value. So hopefully you guys understand why that is important. But let's talk about this a little bit more. So Venom Let There Be Carnage snares highest box office opening of the pandemic era with 90.1 million haul. Sony's Venom Let There Be Charged tallied an estimated 90.1 million in ticket sales domestically over the weekend, the best box office haul since the COVID-19 outbreak began. Marvel's Black Widow was the previous record holder after snaring 80 million during its July debut. And we actually did see a rally based off of Black Widow's numbers that did come out. Something else that I do want to point out is that this film actually did more revenue than their last Venom film alone. So let's talk about this in their direct words. So it says Venom Let There Be Carnage also outpaced the first Venom film, which garnered 80.3 million over the course of its opening weekend when it was released in 2018. Now this next part I think is going to be the reason why AMC does go much higher. It says it is also the second highest October opening in cinematic history, just behind Joker, which generated 96.2 million in 2019, according to data from ComScore. This is huge. Really just helps to crush that short thesis a little bit more, actually a lot more in my personal opinion. If this is the second highest grossing film and we are still in, a pandemic era, this is a huge sign. A lot of naysayers for the theater industry have been saying for, a very long time now, that you have so many options at home. You have Netflix, Disney, Paramount Plus, you have all of these other options for streaming movies basically at your hands. Home theaters have gotten a lot better. People don't want to go out as much. You guys have all heard this, but what the numbers are telling us, what the revenue is telling us, is a much different story. So there is a much better fundamental case here for AMC than there was even just a couple of months ago. This just ultimately, it literally gives me goosebumps because our trade is coming to fruition before our eyes. And for the people that don't think fundamentals matter, the fundamentals, like I said, they do matter. The short thesis is almost just all gone at this point. Maybe you could say AMC is a little bit overvalued, but we pretty much traded in between about $30 and $35 in 2015, so it's not too far off at the current valuation, in my opinion, at its current price right now. Now, there is, I don't want to read this whole thing, but it does go on to say that there's a lot of other movies that are going to be big as well, and that does lead me to Adam Aron's tweet. It says, "So sweet for AMC theaters. Sony Pictures projecting 90 million domestic opening weekend for Venom, second biggest ever for an October movie, plus Bond setting records in the UK. I'll say it again, to self-proclaimed sages who predict the demise of movie theaters, choke on that." Come on, let's go. You gotta give it up. You gotta give it up for Adam Aaron. That literally just gave me goosebumps. This is amazing. We are going to see this Bond movie, I believe it comes to theaters in about 2 weeks in America, is going to be huge as well. So I do think the fact that we are breaking record after record is going to be a huge deal for AMC and the movie theater industry in total, specifically too because we are at a 50-50 moment. If we do continue to go higher on AMC, if we do see a pop to the upside, you're seeing a lot of traders, and we're actually going to be going over an article in the next video later on today, going over a big time trader is looking to trade AMC stock. He thinks there is a great trade here, but not a long-term investment, just like the apes do think so themselves. Now let's talk about this whole Fed scandal that is going on, this insider trading situation. So it says Clarida traded into stocks on eve on Powell pandemic statement. Says Federal Reserve Vice Chair Richard Clarida traded between 1 million and 5 million out of a bond fund into stock funds one day before Chair Jerome Powell issued a statement flagging possible policy action as the pandemic worsened. His 2020 financial disclosures show. Clarida's trades, described in forms filed with the Government Ethics Office, show the shifting of the funds out of a Primco bond fund on February 27, 2020, and on the same day buying the Primco Stocks Plus Fund and the iShares MSCI USA Minimum Volatility Factor Exchange Traded Fund in similar dollar ranges. For the year, he listed 5 transactions. The following day, on February 28th, a Friday at 2:30 p.m., Powell took the unusual step of releasing a statement saying the virus poses, in quotes, evolving risks to economic activity. In the same statement, Powell said the Fed was closely monitoring developments and their implications for the economic outlook. And then the emergency cut. The Fed announced a 0.5 percentage point rate cut on March 3rd following an emergency meeting of the Federal Open Market Committee. Vice Chair Clarida's financial disclosure for 2020 shows transactions that represent a pre-planned rebalancing to his accounts. A Fed spokesperson who was speaking on behalf of the Vice Chair said the transactions were executed prior to his involvement in deliberations on Federal Reserve actions to respond to the emergence of the coronavirus and not during a blackout period. The selected funds were chosen with the prior approval of the board's ethics official. So it doesn't look like he necessarily broke any rules as far as the board's ethics approval process is concerned, but definitely this is insider trading at its finest. You could maybe say, I don't even think you could argue this, that he just seen the virus, expected something bad to happen, and moved his funds around. I don't think you can even make that argument if you are on the board of the people that makes the economic decision. So that's what you guys need to know from this video. Some bombshell information coming out from the Fed yet again, possibly going to be the third chair member that does step down, or the third Fed member that does ultimately step down. All in all, this is great news for AMC, not so much for the Fed and their credibility, but we will obviously get into that later in more detail once more detail is available on that. So tap, tickle, touch, or smash the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. As well as that, let me know down below in the comment section what you think about all of this good news for AMC. What do you think AMC is going to do? Do you think it's going to drop lower? Do you think it's going to go higher? Let me know that information. Every single opinion is valued. As well as if you guys want to support the channel, link for public, link for Webull. Also, if you guys want access to all of my trades in real time, check out the link for the buy and sell alerts. Short position for Robinhood, that's going to be coming out this trading week, as well as any other trade that we make throughout any given week. It is very inexpensive, so anybody is financially able to join if they want to be a part of that, grow their knowledge, etc., etc. So that is going to be all for this video. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you in the next one.